Brexiteers proven absolutely spot on once again. I think it's fair to say that the Remain side basically denied the reality of what EU membership means. You saw, of course, Leavers, Brexiteers warning that the EU is moving towards more enlargement, that you'd see more countries joining, that you'd see even more open EU borders, and ultimately the EU project, is about centralisation of power and expansion. Either you get swept up in it or you leave. No one can deny that EU is looking to enlarge here, because it's been put out there by the European Council President Charles Michel that they want to enlarge the EU by 2030, that there's going to be potentially quite a big expansion of the EU. And you can see the Times report there pointing out that this will reignite debates across Europe about the impact of free movement, of open borders, lowering wages. We've actually got one EU leader there privately quoted as saying, we need to share more policies and sovereignty. What kind of EU do we want? In my view, it is a more federal EU, according to that unnamed EU leader. As for what Charles Michel actually said, these are the direct quotes, saying that he has a proposal, saying they must be ready to enlarge by 2030, for the next EU budget to include common goals, saying they'll take a stand on the opening of negotiations with Ukraine and Moldova, also mentioning the likes of Bosnia and Georgia, and also saying there we need to make sure that past conflicts are not imported into the EU and used to block the accession of their neighbours and other future member states. So potentially looking at even more countries joining on top, saying one way could be to add a so-called confidence clause in the accession treaties to ensure that countries that have just joined cannot block the accession of future member states. And he said they're the hearts of the people may be our biggest challenge. This involves explaining the EU and highlighting its benefits, saying with real political will we can make both the EU and future member states ready. And he says that it's time to build our larger European future together. So there you go, the warnings that there would be EU expansion, there would be EU enlargement, this push for the EU to grow even larger. That has proven to be absolutely spot on. The EU clearly aiming now to enlarge by 2030. Let me know what you make of that in the comments below, guys. I will keep bringing you all the latest, of course. So please do whack this video a quick thumbs up. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.